Hello, everyone. Welcome to Kiki and Kibbitz. It's me, Mary, and I'm here with a special edition of 90 Day Oy Vey. Chidi has finally decided to respond to Renee and all of her crazy accusations. So let's hop right into it. I knew from the moment Renee, whose name is spelled Rayne but pronounced Renee, popped up on my TV clutching a chicken, I knew from that moment she was going to be a wackadoodle. Okay, and let's just face it. From the moment she showed up on our TV screen, surrounded by her chickens, talking about chickens are her family, and she loves chickens, and she put the diaper on the chicken and put it on her bed while she was packing, we knew she was going to be a wackadoodle. But she was really showing her true signs of her wackadoodleness from the very first episode. Okay. Even before she started airing, she was online going on and on about, uh, let's get into what she was going on about Renee's rages. So let's start off with her Instagram post. So, like I said, these are posts from even before the first episode aired. So Renee says, universe can be a sign if he isn't the one. And then she says, Chidi tried to throw me into the pit, but an angel caught me. He was tested. She goes on to say, not in this life, buddy. I'm looking for love, honesty, and solid commitment. You still need time to grow. You know that I was brought into battle people just like you. The seed has been planted. Did I mention this was before the first episode aired, and right around the first and second episode she's already posting this? I curse everyone's relationships who took part in trying to destroy mine. Much love, you were warned. Then she says, Chidi, remember we were bigger than anything, and you do need to remember us at our best. Now, did I mention she's a wackadoodle? She also had posted this on her Instagram at one point. I don't know if she thought she was dating this guy in her mind. From what I understand, he's a rapper. He was involved with Jada Pinkett Smith at one point. Um, I don't know if Renee has some delusion that she is dating this dude, or I don't know, but I'm leaning towards that she's freaking delusional. So, anyway, now let's move on to her threads postings. And I'm not going to read all of them. Okay. You guys could pause and read if you like. But basically, Renee switched over to threads, which is the Instagram version of X, formerly known as Twitter. And she says, I never forced anyone and I don't push anyone. If you don't want nothing to do with me, that's okay. I'd let it be. Your negativity has nothing on me. It's just sad the way people have become just an empty, judgmental shell of your former self. All I mostly seem to ever see is hypocrites. Where are all the real followers? Never mess with people's religion and make them look like the opposite for your self pleasure. She says, I never denounced Jesus Christ. He's the reason I'm here. He's the reason that I'm not sad. He's the reason that I'm not alone. He's the reason why I feel so loved. He is the reason that I truly see. I pray all day, every day, and I rebuke this world with all its negative offerings. I have to keep to myself because you're so negative and judgmental. It's called rising above. Much love. So if this post gets me into trouble, I will do it for God over and over again. So Renee goes on, and I love her username, by the way. Renee, the realist, the the last one standing. Okay. She says, the way it's all going in my life and what is surrounding me in my life is for a reason. Thanks to God, I have it all. He will never let me fall. So she just goes on and on about Basically, she says, how can she be angry when everything is and was expected? I'm 37 years old and all I've ever seen is negative people, few positive. So I'm not surprised to see and have a bunch of low lives criticizing another all over the internet. As I said, expected and not surprised. A surprise would be to see many positive. There is a few surprising sprinkles in there. Bless the better half of society. She goes on to clarify, I would never go all the way for someone in a romantic relationship unless they seemed as if they were going all the way for me. 100% connected spiritually. Two, the root of all evil is money and opportunistic lunatics that choose evil over another living being. Did I mention Renee's a wackadoodle? Yeah. So she goes on her store on her threads about religion and vampires and God. And of course, then she started to release messages that she said were from Chidi. Whenever I was hurt with you, like when you questioned me, saying things like why I couldn't have been born black, this is how you always came through. It was never sexual to me, it was only love. But you always made it sexual. You had me believing until the very day I arrived we were going to be together in every single way. But I guess now But I guess now that you're embarrassed and humiliated in front of the world, I could see why you would want to say the negative things you are saying. And then she puts up some messages of Chidi talking dirty. And then she says it's always been assets, it's always been negative, and now you have stooped to a new low that I never thought you could stoop down to. This was the first message you choose to send me after a couple of months of silence before my arrival. My heart was broken before I arrived, but hopeful. So she sent a message that is dated March 9th, 2023 at 1:01 p.m. And it says, I want you, love. Just sad how you don't want to help me out to get an Android phone. I love you still all the same. So she's basically trying to accuse Chidi of using her for materialistic things. Then she goes on, after she's done blasting Chidi for a bit, she goes on to blast TLC and production. So she says, if I would have known how trashy and unevolved the entities are that run behind the reality shows, or I would never have gotten involved. I am humiliated. I am disgusted. And I am disappointed in so many people in this world. This is an embarrassment to be called a human around people like you. No wonder they're currently putting you out of your misery. Seems we're not going to get anywhere with this mindset that people have. Then she says, you want to edit me this way? Go ahead, you dirty monsters. Bring the attention my way. That's what I'm looking for anyway. Everything I do for a reason. There is a time and a place for everything and everyone. I'm not reading everything, guys. So if you want to pause and read, after I'm done. But she goes on and on. TLC is so pathetic that they have to throw in a bunch of negative bots to start drama. No matter what you do, you can't phase me. I must be a pretty big threat. Spiritually, you feel me coming, don't you? That could be the only logical explanation for your sick behavior. Then she goes back to bashing Chidi and Victoria. He was disgustingly too close with the sister. He broke his phone up on my arrival, had to get a new. Upon opening the nude to take a picture of me and him because that's what he wanted, there was one selfie. The sister took a selfie of her in his bathroom with him standing there against the wall, not even realizing she was taking the photo. Why would his sister put a selfie of her in his phone and then deny it if there wasn't some sick issue? You can all hate me. God does things for a reason. I'm actually not shocked anymore. Bored and numbed out. It is actually funny, but disturbing because honestly, I never thought this many people were mentally insane. And you all think I'm the slow one? Evolve. So it is no surprise to me, honestly, guys. If they asked her not to show up to the tell all, but considering that we've had Angela on previous tell alls where she has flashed the camera, attacked another cast member's mom, basically has caused ruckus and destruction, yells at Sean, doesn't listen to anyone. So they let Angela attend tell alls over and over and over. But apparently, Renee and Chidi will not be at this tell all. My opinion, I think Chidi and Victoria should be allowed to be at the tell all and fuck Renee. Okay. So with rants like these, no surprise that Renee was disinvited to the tell all. I mean, even though, like I said, we've had someone like Angela terrorize tell alls. So, anyway, apparently Renee said she was going to sing a song at the tell all too. Like she was really looking forward to it. So, she continues to rant and, um, she says, Chidi, remember we were bigger than this, and you do need to remember us at our best. Um, She also says, I hope hell awaits at the end of the tunnel for all those who chose to crucify me when you never even knew me or knew anything about me to say the negative things you've said or done. False judgment. I have so much hate thrown at me like a curse because of all of the negative influencers in this world. God saves. That hate will come back to you and returned with a vengeance from another. Stop the hate, stop the negative. Look at all the positive for one. Now, did I mention that all of these posts from Renee's threads and her gram were from like the first 2 weeks of the season? We're on like what, episode 7 now, and she was already flipping out like this within the first couple of weeks. So, as we saw on Sunday's episode, Renee had her final flip out in Victoria's house and left. We also saw her call Victoria a girl, which I find demeaning AF. Okay. Victoria's a grown ass woman. She's not a girl. Victoria has taken to the gram herself to defend her brother. And she basically says that Renee had stopped talking to her brother for a while and then called him up and said, Hey, we're going on the show. She bought him the phone so she could be in communication with him because she wanted to go on the show with him. Chidi had told her before she came to Nigeria about his vow, about his intention of keeping his vow. She had previously canceled the trip, but then put it back on. I wonder why. And you know something? I totally believe Victoria. I believe Victoria 100%. Chidi has tried to stay positive amongst all of Renee's craziness, okay? But it has gotten nasty, even nastier now. So, in light of the episode that aired on Sunday, Renee took to the gram again, okay, and she decided to call him a boy. I broke up with him. I don't need to control or use anyone. The way they portrayed me is a damn negative joke. But the pathetic part is that you have this boy that can't even stand up for the truth and for the person that he loved. He knows I was never controlling. He knows I was never mean. That it did. Sure, Renee. He wanted to marry me, but he couldn't because of the family. I'm white. And because of the family, he speaks the way he now does. I'm not desperate. I went to another country to see if this boy has it in his heart to love me the way he claimed. Unfortunately, he's still breastfed and does not make any decisions on his own whatsoever. I don't put up with any negativity or lies. I ran from him. Upon my return, he called me a total of around 55 times. Once he was back home away from the sister. Then she goes on to say, with a background of pacifiers, I stood my ground. I didn't waste 5 years of my life to go play patty cake with a little boy who can't get off his sister's breast. Renee, like a what the fuck, please. When his sister turned around, he tried to sexually get on me. When his sister turned around, he asked me if I would go sign a marriage certificate. When his sister turned around, he whispered for me to buy an apartment. Every time those cameras turned on, he either acted like he was in love or bulging his cock eye out at me and yelling. It's like he couldn't figure out what to say to make me go away. The person he is today is not the person I was talking to. Best believe in possession because this guy is now mentally insane. No, Renee, I'm leaning towards that you are mentally insane. So Chidi took to the gram to finally respond to all of Renee's shit. And he says, Dear Renee, I'd rather be boy and breastfed than living with your constant insults and hate. You made posts calling me boy, liar, scammer, and deceiver. Please explain to me how. We can easily understand and forgive a child who is frightened by the darkness. But what do we say to an adult who sees light and cries? In hindsight, I still vividly recall how, in agonizing lamentation, Renee expressed her woes to me on the first night we met in social media in 2019. She told me she had never been loved by anyone before, that the two fathers of her children hated her and wanted to kill her, and that her family disliked her and thought she was delusional. She also shared how, when she attended church, her pastor sent her out of his office and recommended she see a psychiatrist after she spoke of alien conspiracies and the Illuminati. I could see why. This was the reason why she stopped attending church. She believes human society was against her and that she had no friends. Having been through my own traumatic experiences where I was helped back on my feet by the love and support of family and friends, I felt deeply for Renee. From that point on, I was always there for her, offering encouragement and cheering her up on numerous phone calls. After weeks of constant communication, Renee, in appreciation of the joy and excitement I brought to her life, confessed her love for me, and I responded positively. We dated for 2 years. And after 2 years of dating, we broke up for 3 years. So, sometime around May or June of last year, Renee contacted me through a regular phone call. She informed me about a TV show that she applied for. Our journey can be divided into three stages. The first 2 years during which we dated, the 3 years of separation, and the final stage when she returned, which lasted about 4 months until the show was filmed in August of last year. So interesting. Renee already had like this whole, storyline planned out. Okay, I had no knowledge of it as she never informed me. She had only called to say that the producers had sent me an email 2 weeks before her call and had been trying to reach me after my Android phone was stolen a year earlier. Part two, to ensure effective communication, she got me an Android phone for which I was and still am grateful. To cut the long story short, we reconciled and agreed on a fresh start. There was a mutual agreement to use this opportunity to study each other and to see if we could discuss, resolve, and get over many of our differences. And of a truth, I had genuine affection for her, just that I wasn't talking sexy the way I used to. By the grace of God, I had grown in faith and was a transformed man in Christ Jesus. I was neither shy nor afraid to communicate this to Renee as soon as we started speaking regularly. Before God, I made my vow of celibacy known to Renee months before her visit. Victoria said the same. Though I had engaged in sexual conversations with her during the first 2 years we dated, I made clear that I had undergone a transformation during our time apart and now was a changed man. I still remember the night I told her about my celibacy. She reacted angrily, ended the call, called Emmanuel, also a blind guy here in Nigeria, who she had dated before returning to me. People should ask Renee if she didn't call Emmanuel that night, asking him the difference between his location and Lagos and whether he will be willing to come to her. They should ask her if she didn't call our producer that same hour, asking about the possibility of bringing Emmanuel to keep her company, which the producer declined, stating that they didn't have a contract with him. Oh, Renee, who the fuck is Emmanuel? Just saying. Renee also blocked me that night, but unblocked me a few days later, asking me if I had changed my mind. My answer remained a firm no. At this point, she threatened to terminate her visit, later changing her mind when she realized I wasn't going to yield. Renee, I am not surprised by your malicious posts, as you always threatened me that the world would laugh at me, that you'll rise and shine while I remained in the dark. Part three. You claim I deceived you into coming and accused me of sexing you even until the night before your arrival. These accusations are wicked lies. People should ask Renee for the dates of those messages. If they were sent during the first 2 years we dated before our breakup, why bring them up now knowing I'm a changed man? I know she can't claim that they were sent during the second stage when we were separated for 3 years. I assume she's trying to claim they were sent during the third stage after she came back to me with the show. People should ask Renee if she consulted or informed me when she applied for the show. From the day she called to the day she arrived, I never allowed myself to have inappropriate conversations with her. If I'm lying, why was she always complaining the Chidi she used to know is dead? Yes, I am dead in Christ. Why was she always asking me to submit to her and promising I would have all I wanted? Why did she ask me to delete all my chats with her, claiming the producers could access our phones, which I later discovered was a lie? Renee, you deceived me into deleting innocent chats so I would have no evidence to counter your lies when you start unleashing them as you do now. Renee knew full well I wouldn't be sleeping with her before she came to Nigeria, but her narcissism, desire for self control, and belief my blindness meant I lacked self will drove her to try to sub- subjugate me. If that wasn't the case, why was she always asking me to submit her? On one occasion, I asked what she meant by that, and she said, I must admit we are not equals, that she was above me. This explains why she called me boy whenever I disagreed with her. Okay, it's like just reading this, I want to put my hands around Renee's throat. So now part 4. Imagine accusing me of wanting to be intimate when she knew that wasn't true. All in attempt to tarnish my image when she didn't get what you wanted. She even threatened to kill herself and me if she didn't get what you wanted. Warning that that's what happened between warning that what happened between Romeo and Juliet would happen between us. At the same time, threatening my sister and the producer with dark forces. She accused them of being the reason I'm not yielding to her. The poor producer. Holy shit. At a point, the threats were so unbecoming, they had to hire a psychiatrist from the States to talk to both of us on Zoom. But she refused to talk to the woman for reasons I don't understand. Renee, you can't gain love by giving hate. You can't shine by emitting darkness. I understand your pain and feel for you deeply, but it's not anyone's fault. This is how you were whining and blaming others when we first met. 5 years later, it's still the same. You said I called you after you left. Yes, I did, because I was concerned for your safety after you made threats on your own life. I'm not writing this out of hatred or rancor. Even though we have broken up, I want you to know you're not my enemy. I love you with the love of God and will always pray for your healing. I hope you reflect and realize the solution to your problems lies in working on yourself instead of blaming others. And like Chidi said on Sunday's episode, after she flipped out on his sister and said, "You see, it's all your sister's fault." Chidi said the problem is not with his sister, but it's deeply rooted within Renee. And that is so fucking true. Just rereading what Chidi wrote, I feel so bad for him. Okay. I could just imagine what was going through his mind hearing Renee threaten her life, threaten him, threaten production, his sister, anybody around. I mean, well, the good news is they are broken up. Chidi will never see her again. And that's it. Renee is not going to the tell all. I wish Chidi and Victoria would, but I'm not Matt Sharp. So that's basically it, you guys. I just wanted to share that Chidi decided to strike back at Renee and all of her bullshit. So thank you so much for watching me. Please subscribe if you don't already. Hit that like button and share my video with a friend or 10. And please consider joining my membership. There's a join button on my banner up there somewhere and a link down here. Thank you so much. See you next time. Bye, everyone.